If you've been craving a buttered chicken style type recipe, the one that you would get at the best Indian food restaurant in town, but you haven't quite found it yet, well, today's video is just for you. We're gonna make the most mouth-watering buttered chicken style dish that you've probably ever had since you've been plant-based. Now, you can make this one of two ways. You can do it with tofu, which is what we're gonna do today, or you can replace that tofu for soy curls. If you're unfamiliar with soy curls, check out some of our past videos where we've made them for different dishes and they're perfect for a recipe just like this. Tofu works great for this dish, however, because it absorbs flavor so well. And I'm gonna show you how to add a ton of flavor to the tofu and also give it a texture that you are gonna absolutely fall in love with. This is a tangy, heartwarming rendition of one of your favorites, and it's one of our family favorites, and I know it's gonna become one of yours as well. And we're gonna show you how to get it from the cutting board to the table in about 20 to 30 minutes. So if that sounds good, let's jump into it right now.
All right, let's get started. But first, I'm kicking things off with my trusty cooking companion, the Granville Island Lions Winter Ale. It is a delicious caramel, white chocolate, and vanilla nutty beer that is just perfect during the winter season. It's only available for a few months, and this is definitely one of the local favorites in the Vancouver area. So give it a try if you haven't tried it. It is a staple and the perfect partner today for our cooking adventure. So we always want to start with everything in place. Mise en place for the win. First up is our tofu. We're going to slice it into neat, consistent cubes, about 1 centimeter each. Now, confession time. I forgot to put water on a boil earlier. Whoops. So anyways, once it's boiling, we're going to toss the tofu into the salted water. This step, it pulls out the extra moisture from the tofu and gives you that crispy on the outside, tender on the inside texture we all dream of. And actually, to be honest, you could skip this step if you want to save a little bit of time and just pan fry your tofu in some butter, but we're going to go all out and make sure we get the texture we're looking for. While the tofu is boiling, we're going to prep our onions. If chopping onions isn't your thing, you're going to try this method next because it's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of tears. First, we're going to do some horizontal cuts into our half piece of onion, followed by doing some shoestring type slices and then a quick dice. It's efficient and almost tear-free, depending on how quick you can move. Oh, and it's worth mentioning we're doubling the recipe today. So if my ingredient amounts look a little bit extra in the video, don't panic. The single serving recipe is in the description. Worth mentioning, let's get a little bit of vegan butter and pop it in the microwave so it's ready for us later. After our tofu's been on for about 10 to 15 minutes, it is ready to drain. Remember, again, you can skip this step if you're short on time, but trust me, it's worth it for that crispy crunch. Once drained, coat the tofu in cornstarch. This is where the magic begins. Cornstarch is the unsung hero of crispiness. Drizzle the tofu with the melted vegan butter from before for extra flavor, then pop it into the air fryer for about 15 minutes. If you don't have an air fryer, no worries, you can just pan fry it with a bit of oil for equally golden results. Now on to the sauce, aka the heart of this dish. Melt some vegan butter in a pan and toss in your diced onions. Saute until they turn beautifully golden brown. Stir occasionally so nothing burns. We're building layers of flavor here. Add garlic once the onions are fragrant and keep stirring until your kitchen smells like absolute heaven. Next up, tomato paste. Cooking it for a minute or two helps cut through any bitterness. A little bit of rice vinegar in this dish is going to add a nice acidic touch that you're going to love. Stir in the nutritional yeast to help with that umami kick, along with sugar, curry powder, mustard seeds, turmeric, and a dash of red pepper flakes. Watch as these spices transform into a fragrant, colorful mix. I'll admit, I tend to overstuff my pans, so I'm going to transfer everything into this larger pot, safety first, and then you guys can see it a little bit better. Now we add coconut milk. Stir it in and marvel as the sauce turns rich, creamy, and irresistible. Don't forget the salt and pepper. It's all about tasting and adjusting as you go. I like to add a little extra rice vinegar at times for a tangy punch if needed, or you can play with the salt and pepper mixtures. Lastly, toss in the frozen peas. They're not just for color though. They bring a subtle sweetness that balances the spice. Back to the air fryer to check on our tofu, and it's looking golden, crispy, and absolute perfection. Time to introduce it into the sauce. Gently fold the tofu into the simmering curry, ensuring every piece gets coated in that velvety goodness. And now, the moment we've been waiting for, plating. We'll do a quick slice of a little bit of fresh cilantro and some pea shoots on the side for presentation. And onto our plate, we're going to start with a generous bed of steamed rice. Ladle the butter tofu over the top, letting the sauce cascade beautifully. Garnish with the chopped cilantro and fresh pea sprouts for a pop of color. And of course, don't forget a side of naan for scooping up every last bite of sauce. The final dish, it is a visual masterpiece. Deep reds, creamy golds, vibrant greens. The aroma alone is enough to make your mouth water. Every bite is the perfect balance of tangy, creamy, and crispy. It's the kind of meal that makes you want to call over your pickiest food critic just to show it off. So there you have it, butter tofu that's guaranteed to become a favorite in your household. Try it out and let me know in the comments how yours turns out. And if you thought that this looked good, you're gonna love what's coming up next. Hit that subscribe button and stick around for another one of my favorite recipes. It's coming up next right now. I'll see you over on the next video. Cheers.